Students, whatever homework is given to you, you have to submit it on the very next day between 8 am to 1 pm to the given WhatsApp number, and it is compulsory to submit your homework as your attendance will be marked on the basis of your submission.
Hello students, how are you all? I hope you all are fit and fine. Today we will start the new lesson number 6, Eklavya. Before that, we will start with the new words so that you can understand the lesson easily. So let's get started. Number 1, long gone era. L-O-N-G, long, G-O-N-E, gone, E-R-A, era. Long gone era means long time ago, मतलब बहुत समय पहले. Number 2, disciple, D-I-S-C-I-P-L-E, disciple. Disciple means student. Number 3, mentor, M-E-N-T-O-R, mentor. Mentor means teacher. Number 4, archery, A-R-C-H-E-R-Y, archery. Archery means the sport of shooting arrows, वह खेल जिसमें हम तीर चलाते हैं. Number 5, warriors, W-A-R-R-I-O-R-S, warriors. Warriors means soldier, सिपाही. Number 6, ambition, A-M-B-I-T-I-O-N, ambition. Ambition means a strong desire to do something, जब मन में कोई चाहत होती है कुछ काम करने की. Number 7, interrupted, I-N-T-E-R-R-U-P-T-E-D, interrupted means cutting, मतलब बीच में बोलना या किसी बात को कट करना. Number 8, miserably, M-I-S-E-R-A-B-L-Y, miserably means in an unhappy manner, जब हम कोई दुखी मन से कुछ बोलते हैं या कुछ काम करते हैं या दुखी होते हैं. Number 9, secluded, S-E-C-L-U-D-E-D, secluded means unnoticed, मतलब जिस तरफ ध्यान नहीं जाए या दिखाई न दे, unnoticed. Number 10, shunned, S-H-U-N-N-E-D, shun means rejected, खारिज करना या किसी चीज़ के लिए मना करना. Number 11, perseverance, P-E-R-S-E-R-V-E-R-A-N-C-E, perseverance means resolution, कुछ मन में ठान लेना या पक्का इरादा करना. Number 12, transformed, T-R-A-N-S-F-O-R-M-E-D, transform means modified, change करना या कुछ अलग करना, हटके करना. Number 13, stuffed, S-T-U-F-F-E-D, stuffed. Stuffed means fill tightly with something, कोई चीज़ किसी और चीज़ के साथ स्टफ़ कर देना, मतलब भर देना. fill tightly मतलब भर देना. Number 14, filth, F-I-L-T-H, filth. filth का यहाँ पे मतलब है मड और dirt, मतलब मिट्टी या गंदगी. Number 15, disobeying, D-I-S-O-B-E-Y-I-N-G, disobeying means neglect और ignore, मतलब किसी को नज़रअंदाज करना या किसी की तरफ ध्यान नहीं देना या किसी का कहना नहीं मानना. disobeying. Number 16, hesitation, H-E-S-I-T-A-T-I-O-N, hesitation. hesitation means हिचकिचाना. Number 17, gasped, G-A-S-P-E-D, gasp means हाँफना या तेज़ी से सांस लेना. Number 18, content, C-O-N-T-E-N-T, content मतलब संतुष्ट रहना. Number 19, grieved, G-R-I-E-V-E-D, grieved. grieved means बहुत दुख होना या किसी बात का बहुत अफसोस करना. Number 20, slightest, S-L-I-G-H TEST, slightest. Slightest means smallest in degree, मतलब कम मात्रा में. So students, today we have learned the new words of the lesson Eklavya. Now you have to write these new words in your notebook. Now see the animation.
Chapter 6, Eklavya. This is the story of a long-gone era. There lived a boy named Eklavya, the son of a tribal chief in the forests of the kingdom Hastinapur. Eklavya was a brave, handsome boy. He was loved by all, but he was not happy as he had only one burning desire: to become a disciple of the great Dronacharya, the great mentor of archery in Hastinapur. His Gurukul was a magical place where ordinary boys were turned into mighty warriors. Eklavya's father was troubled, for he knew that his son's ambition was not an easy one. But the chief was a loving father, and he did not want to refuse his only son's wish. So the kind man gave his blessings and sent his son on his way to Dronacharya's Gurukul. Eklavya set on his way. Soon he reached the part of the forest where Dronacharya taught the princes of Hastinapur. When the boy reached Dronacharya's Gurukul, he saw that the disciples were practicing shooting arrows with their bows in the yard. It was an engaging sight, but Eklavya's eyes looked for Dronacharya. He spotted him near a tree, busy instructing a boy, who was none else than the third Pandava prince, Arjun, as Eklavya came to know later. He went near Dronacharya and bowed. The sage was surprised to see a strange boy addressing him.
"Who are you?"
he asked.
"Dronacharya, I am Eklavya, son of the tribal chief in the western part of the forests of Hastinapur. Please accept me as your disciple and teach me the wonderful art of archery."
Dronacharya sighed.
"Eklavya,"
said he,
"if you are a tribal hunter, you must be a Shudra, the lowest social community. I am a Brahmin, the highest caste in the kingdom. I cannot teach a Shudra boy."
"He is a royal teacher," interrupted Prince Arjun.
"Our Guru has been appointed by the king to train us, the princes. How dare you come inside the Gurukul and seek him? Leave, now."
He spat out that Eklavya had disturbed his practice. The innocent tribal boy was deeply hurt.
"It's not fair,"
he thought miserably.
"God has given knowledge to all, but man alone differentiates his kind."
He left the place with a broken heart, but it could not shatter his ambition to learn archery. He was still as determined to learn archery.
"I may be a Shudra, but does it make any difference?"
thought he.
"If I practice every day, I can surely become an archer."
Eklavya reached his own forests and took some mud from a nearby river. He made a statue of Dronacharya and selected a secluded clearing in the forest to place it. Eklavya did this because he believed that if he practiced before his guru, he would become an able archer. Thus, though his guru shunned him, he still held him in high esteem and thought of him as his guru. Day after day, he took his bow and arrow, worshipped the statue of Dronacharya, and started practice. In time, faith, courage and perseverance transformed Eklavya, the mere tribal hunter, into Eklavya, the extraordinary archer, an archer even better than Arjun. One day while Eklavya was practicing, he heard a dog barking. At first, the boy ignored the dog, but continuous disturbance in his practice angered him. He stopped his practice and went towards the place where the dog was barking. Before the dog could get out of the way, Eklavya fired 7 arrows in rapid succession to fill the dog's mouth without injuring it. As a result, it roamed the forests with its mouth open. But Eklavya was not alone in his practice. He was unaware of the fact that some distance away, the Pandava princes were also present in that area of the forest. As they were busy practicing, they suddenly chanced upon this stuffed dog and wondered who could have pulled off such a feat of archery. Drona was amazed too. He told the Pandavas that if somebody was such a good archer, then he surely needed to be met. Together they began searching the forest for the one behind such an amazing feat. They found a dark-skinned man dressed all in black, his body covered with filth and his hair in matted locks. It was Eklavya. Dronacharya went up to him.
Your aim is truly remarkable.
Drona praised Eklavya and asked,
Who taught you archery?
Eklavya was thrilled to hear Drona's praises.
I learnt it from you, my master. You are my guru.
Eklavya replied humbly.
My guru? How can I be your guru? I have never seen you.
Drona exclaimed in surprise, but all of a sudden he remembered something. He remembered an eager boy who had visited his Gurukul several months ago.
Now I remember,
said he.
Are you not the same hunter boy whom I refused admission in my Gurukul some months back?
Yes, Dronacharya, replied the boy.
After I left your Gurukul, I came home and made your statue and worshipped it every day. I practiced before your image. You refused to teach me, but your statue did not. Thanks to it, I have become a good archer.
Hearing this, Arjun became angry.
But you promised me that you'd make me the best archer in the world.
He accused Dronacharya.
Now how can that be? A common hunter has become better than I am.
Unable to answer Arjun's question, Dronacharya remained silent. The sage too was upset that his promise to Prince Arjun was not going to be fulfilled. He was also angry with Eklavya for disobeying him. So the sage planned to punish Eklavya.
Where is your Guru Dakshina? You have to give me a gift for your training.
The sage demanded. He had finally found a way to make Eklavya suffer for his disobedience.
Eklavya was overjoyed. Dronacharya, ask me anything and I will offer it to you as my Guru Dakshina.
He said,
Eklavya, I seek to have the thumb of your right hand as my Guru Dakshina.
He declared. Everyone was shocked, even Arjun. He looked at his teacher in horror and disbelief. How could their teacher make such a cruel demand? For a moment, Eklavya stood silent. Without his thumb, he could never shoot arrows again. But the teacher must be satisfied.
Gurudev, as you wish,
said he. Then, without the slightest hesitation, Eklavya drew out his knife and cut his thumb. The princes gasped at Eklavya's act of bravery. But the tribal boy showed no signs of pain and held out his severed thumb to Dronacharya.
Here is my Guru Dakshina, Drona,
Eklavya said.
I am happy that you have made me your disciple, even if I am a mere Shudra hunter.
The sage was humbled. He blessed the young archer for his courage.
Eklavya, even without your thumb, you will be known as a great archer. I bless you that you will be remembered forever for your loyalty to your Guru.
Drona declared and left the forests. He was moved and grieved at his own action, but he was content that his promise to Arjun was not broken. the god-blessed Eklavya